Premier have 16 bakeries across South Africa and trade under the brand names Blue Ribbon, Star, BB and Mr. Bread. The bakeries are situated in Pretoria, Temba, Aeroton, Vereniging, Middelburg, Tabanchu, Lesotho, Swaziland, Pinetown, Durban, Salt River, Port Elizabeth, East London, King Williamstown, Mthatha and Queenstown. As safety, the environment and food safety are the most important aspects of our business, Premier strives to ensure that a high level of occupational health and safety standards are achieved and maintained throughout its units, and to protect its people and the property of the business by complying with all the applicable legal requirements and other standards applicable to the organization. We also strive to achieve and maintain zero incidents by providing everyone with a safe and hygienic working environment. When entering our site, please make sure that you filled in the register and required documents at security. You will be instructed as to the access control process, biometric system or ID card system. On entry and exit, you may be subjected to a random search. At Premier, we employ strict health and safety standards that comply with the SHEQ Act. We also have systems in place with certification in food safety. General safety rules and regulations. Induction training is required for all employees, temporary workers and contractors. It is valid for a 1-year period. After the completion of induction training, the employees will sign the training register and basic safety rules. The emergency procedures and equipment will be demonstrated to them. Personal protective equipment is issued to protect you against the dangers and hazards in the plant. It's mandatory to wear the compulsory PPE at all times. Minimum requirements for anyone entering the plant are hairnets, white coats and 2-piece overalls, earplugs and safety shoes. Safety goggles must be worn if required by the safe working procedure. Beards are to be covered by beard snoods. The speed limit for cars is 10 kilometers an hour. Speeding will not be tolerated. Be cautious of moving equipment and vehicles inside and outside the plant. No person is allowed to use a cell phone while driving on site. No person is to drive any vehicle or forklift without the correct license. On entering the factory, please first stop to wash, dry, and sanitize your hands. No jewelry is allowed inside the plant. The only exceptions are a wedding band or medical alert bracelet. No glass is allowed on site, except what is listed in the glass policy. Fire equipment is situated at strategic points. These are indicated by the symbolic signs on the walls. Fire extinguishers, emergency exits, and DB boards must not be obstructed. All safety signage must be adhered to. These are divided into 5 categories. 1. Hazard warning sign. 2. Prohibitory sign. 3. Mandatory use of PPE. 4. General info, first aid. 5. Fire equipment. Employees must understand the different color codings used in the plant. Green, first aid equipment and safety equipment. Orange, electrical equipment. Red, stop button, danger and fire equipment. And yellow, caution, demarcation and housekeeping. No firearms are allowed on site. No person may enter the site if they are under the influence of or in possession of any intoxicating substance. Random alcohol testing is conducted with a breathalyzer. Please be aware that the taking of photos without prior authorization by Premier Management is strictly prohibited. No material or equipment may be removed from site without written authorization by Premier Management. Due to the high risk of fire and for reasons of hygiene, smoking is not allowed in or around the plant, but only in the designated smoking areas shown here. Please note that drinking or eating inside the plant is not allowed. Please use the designated areas. When ascending or descending stairs, always make use of the handrail. Take one step at a time. Procedures. Take note of the emergency plan, evacuation procedures, and fire procedures in your area. In the event of an emergency, follow the instructions of your evacuation coordinator and make your way to the assembly point immediately in a controlled manner. All contractors, visitors, and employees are to assemble at the emergency assembly point. Security will then lock off all the gates, and no one will be allowed to enter or exit the premises. Roll call will then be taken, and the search and rescue teams dispatched for any unaccounted for people. All employees will be introduced to the health and safety rep, first aiders, firefighters, and evacuation marshals in his or her area. All incidents are to be reported to your supervisor, the health and safety rep, and the health and safety coordinator immediately. Annexure 1 form needs to be completed for injuries. If the employee needs medical treatment by a doctor, the WCL2 form must be completed and must be sent with the injured person to the doctor or the hospital. All incidents must be investigated to prevent them from happening again. Now, incidents include near misses, first aid injuries, fires, property damage, environmental incidents such as spillages, blood spills, glass and hard plastic breakages. All unsafe acts and conditions must be reported to the Health and Safety Coordinator. All lost items must be reported to security. All current and new employees must undergo entrance medicals. This is an annual requirement. If you've been exposed to or infected with a disease that is transmitted through food, or if you're ill, please declare this to your host. If you have infected wounds, skin infections, sores, or diarrhea or vomiting, please declare this at the Food Safety Department. Environmental. Please keep the site clean and do not litter inside or around the plant. Remember that good housekeeping is everything in its place always. All hazardous waste, such as fluorescent tubes and oils, are to be disposed of at the maintenance department. Such waste will then be sent to a licensed waste disposal site. All dough, soft plastic waste, general waste, glass waste, cans and other metal waste, and paper waste are disposed of in designated bins and is sent for recycling. All hazardous substances used on the premises have been identified, and material safety data sheets, or MSDSs, must be provided. All chemicals brought onto site are to be first approved by the Quality and Safety Department. Spillages should be cleaned up immediately by trained individuals. Spill kits are available in the maintenance store. Care should be taken that spillages do not go down the drains or get absorbed into the ground, as this can contaminate our rivers and soil. Spills must be reported to the Health and Safety Controller. Based on the requirements of Section 8 and Section 13 of the OSH Act, duty to inform, every employee must be conversant with the hazard to his or her health and safety. Each employer must do a risk analysis of the different types of work within the factory. Safe working procedures are drawn up and posted at each machine or operation point. Employees will be trained annually on safe working procedures and dangers, and the safest way to do the job must be demonstrated by the supervisor. Employees must understand the contents of the Schedule D notice displayed in the factory. No employee is allowed to operate any machine if he or she is not trained to do so. No employee is allowed to adjust, lubricate, or clean any machine while the machine is still in motion. When a problem with a machine occurs, the employee must call his or her supervisor. Under no circumstances will he or she try to repair the machine. Before starting up machines, ensure that all machine guards are in place. No guards are to be removed from any machine while it is still in motion. If an obstruction occurs at a machine due to a stuck pan, pan lid, or stuck loaf, always follow the lockout procedure by switching off the machine. Do not try to remove any stuck article when the machine is still in motion. The results can be catastrophic, and you could lose your fingers or your hands. Follow the startup procedure and do a physical inspection that all is clear before the machine gets into motion. Pay attention to closed areas like the prover and the cooler. Lockout procedures must be followed when cleaning or when maintenance needs to be done on a machine. The lockout tag is to be displayed. There should be no water anywhere near electrical equipment. All stacking of articles must be executed or supervised by persons who have experience and knowledge of stacking operations. All hand tools or portable electrical tools must be inspected by a competent person before use. Record findings in the register. Damaged or unsafe tools should not be used. You're not allowed to open or fiddle with any electrical equipment. Ladders are to be inspected before use. Take one step at a time when climbing a ladder and use both hands on the ladder. Always drink enough water to prevent heat stroke. Report to your supervisor if you feel ill or very uncomfortable due to high temperatures. Contractors. Before contractors can start working, the following documents need to be completed. A. The Section 37 contract must be signed on all the pages by the contractor and the Premier representative. B. WCC must be supplied by the contractor. C. Induction training and emergency procedures. Under no circumstances are you allowed to work on any running or moving machinery unless it has been made safe by using the lockout, lock and tag. Permits are issued for the following jobs: hot work, heights and roofs, confined spaces, electrical work, scaffolding, and excavations. A hot work permit must be obtained from a person authorized to issue one prior to commencement of any hot work. Now, hot work includes welding, soldering, brazing, grinding, cutting, or indeed any work that involves a possible source of ignition in an area where flammable or explosive materials may be present. Requirements for hot work are to screen off the area completely using only welding screens. No combustible materials are to be used to screen off. Ensure food streams are covered and protected at all times. Have a fire extinguisher within the area where hot work is to be done. Clean up the area. No dust in the air or on the floor. Inspection after completion of hot work with hot work permit being signed off. Use PPE, that is welding helmet and gloves. Any work 2 meters or more above the ground is deemed to be working at heights and will require a permit to work, obtainable from a person authorized to issue one. PPE required for such work includes safety harnesses, lifelines, and hard hats, which are to be provided by the contractor. Training records certifying a person to work at heights are to be given to the maintenance manager. Any work in a confined space, such as inside a vessel, silo, or manhole, requires a permit. Before operating electrical equipment and panels, ensure that a premier electrician locks them out and issues you with a permit. Medical certificates of fitness are to be presented to the maintenance manager for persons performing work at heights or in confined spaces. Contractors' tools and equipment must be inspected before any work commences. In closure, the most important point that must be remembered is that safety is not just the responsibility of management, but also the responsibility of each person that works on the site. Report any unsafe acts or conditions, and please take care out there. Safety must be your #1 concern. Thank you for your attention, and always think and do it safely.